What first comes to mind when the word black is heard? The connotation associated with black entails ideals such as malevolence, dilapidation, and inferiority. These ideas have been consistent throughout history and have been associated with a certain race of people. These perceptions, as well as other poor sentiments, led to the oppression and prejudice of black people. The repercussions of this oppression are so present in today's society. The effects of oppression are present with the general mentality, situations, and lifestyle of this group of people. This can be attributed to the types of prejudice and oppression, the effect that these events had on black people, and the methods that need to be practiced in order to potentially eliminate repercussive issues that follow the extreme oppression of black people. In order to explain how prejudice and its repercussions affect black people, the detrimental events where prejudice occurred must first be understood. The events that occurred in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921 is a very dark blemish on history. Tulsa, Oklahoma had a bustling place called Greenwood, which had the nickname the Black Wall Street because of the hundreds of black-owned businesses in the area that established the economic prominence of black people. The riot occurred on the 31st of May of 1921. About 40 blocks of black-owned property was destroyed, which included around 1,250 homes and an estimated death toll of about 300 people. These numbers depict the sheer scope of the damage that originated from the black people standing up for what is right. In the Tulsa race riot, blacks were cleansed from both the economic system and the local social system. Of the hundreds of businesses that resided on the 40 blocks of land where the riot took place, none of them were able to continue in a very successful manner. This situation eliminated all the black-owned businesses of Tulsa from the local and global economy. The position that black people were in after the Tulsa riot illustrates their position in American society as second-class citizens and business owners. Many blacks were homeless after the riot, and if they survived, and those that fled to safety returned to utter destruction. The social situation of black people was set back, and they had to essentially restart their lives at that time. This setback reverberated through the entire economy and affected everyone that used the products that were being produced in Greenwood. This situation can be related to many places where historically black communities exist. The multitude of race riots and massacres that were fueled by hate, prejudice, and evil affected black people then, and the same events that occurred so long ago affect black people socially, mentally, and economically. Now, for my visual, I chose a chart that shows demographics for business success based off of race. And it shows, as you can see, how many jobs are created. It provides a scope as to the percent of the working age population for the respective race, the annual revenue, and if they could give every working age person for the respective race a check every year. When considering the repercussions of racial prejudice against black people, one cannot only investigate the adverse effects directly on black people. The effects of racism also include the way in which the oppressive group of people is affected. An appropriate example of this would be the apparent racism in schools in the suburbs that has persisted throughout the years. An alarming social issue that exhibits the ideas of segregation and white superiority, known as gentrification, is an issue that black people are familiar with. Gentrification initiates with mortgage discrimination, which is the denial of mortgage loans based off of economic status. And it only becomes discrimination when factors besides economic status are being considered for the loan. Gentrification happens everywhere and is used as a way for banks to make more money. In an attempt to achieve this, banks have perpetuated the subversion of the purpose of the Community Reinvestment Act of 1977. The amplification of costs has led to a disparity in community quality, and one of the targets of gentrification are ghettos. The ideas associated with black people can be traced to the caricature of black people that was birthed from the black ghetto, becoming a common and inescapable label on all black people. Even though there's a solution, the promotion of neo-black excellence will not solve generational problems that arose from historical prejudice. Black people will struggle to reclaim ground economically because of the current position they're in, but it is not impossible. The social status of black people is not where it should be in terms of discriminatory actions taken against black people, but in relation to black people's previous status, there's been insurmountable improvement. The current mentality of black people may be beyond repair, but this hindrance can be overcome in future generations.